All right, my friends, you've been hearing me talk about the Genesis program through Rise of Kings, and I am incredibly excited to invite you to it as well as be a part of it. Rise of Kings has helped thousands of men over the last 5 years discover the reality of their identity, and now they have launched the Genesis program, which is for young men ages 13 to 17. And here's the idea. You as a father would take your son to this 2-day event to start to initiate a conversation and an awareness around what it means to be a man. But the conversation would really be between you and your son. And then after the 2-day event, once we expose your sons to the 4 pillars, to what it means to be a man, then we work with you and your son. I'm actually the coach for the mastermind program. You got Mondo Davis, who does the 2-day event, incredible man, 11 children. He's currently working with his 16-year-old son. I'm working with my 16-year-old son. So you guys, this is fresh. This is real. This matters. So we want to invite you to the 2-day event with you and your son. And then after that, I'll be the coach for the 6-month mastermind, where I'm working with you every 2 weeks. And then I'm working with your sons every 2 weeks, with the idea that we're helping you to really step into what does it look like to help transition your son from a boy into a man. This is something you won't want to miss. It is worth the time, the resources to really help your son see who he is young and early, so that he can love, lead, serve a family and the kingdom moving forward at a young age. Please go to riseofkings.com/FFN to register you and your son. Would love to see you in the program. All right, what is up, my friends, my fellow fathers? Welcome to Friday's episode, the Craft of Fatherhood podcast. This is your guide, Ned Schaut. I believe our role as fathers has the power to change the world simply by knowing who we are and embracing the adventure. On these Friday episodes, I try to keep it short and sweet, share a couple of stories from my own life, a couple of things I'm thinking about, wrestling through, or noticing. So check it out. I don't think we can talk about this as enough as dads, but the power of listening. Okay, I've noticed over the last couple of months, as I have spent more intentional time listening to my daughters, really all 4 of them. And it's so funny, as I say this out loud, I'm like, I talk about this from the father perspective. I should get better at this as a husband. And if I got better at this as a husband, that would probably make everything easier. So that's probably another conversation. But listening to our girls, and listening to our wives, and even listening to our sons, okay? Listening is so important. And I think listening without having a response, and sometimes even being like, hey, because I think sometimes when someone's talking to us, we're just thinking about what we're going to say because we're thinking about a response. And I think a lot of times we should just not have a response, or ask, do you want a response to this? But I'm going to share a couple things. Like the other night, sitting in the jacuzzi with one of my daughters and just listening to her talk about senior year and graduation and family and moving and what it looks like and what it feels like and how she's doing, and just celebrating that with her. Another daughter, really, guys, when you're able to drive in the car with your kids. So we were driving back from a football game, and it's just listening to everything. You know, I could tend to turn on a podcast or turn on music or whatever, but we talked. And I noticed that there's really a depth of connection when I listen, especially to the girls. They really want to be heard, but I think humans in general want to be heard. But dads, are you doing most of the talking in your relationships with your children? And is most of that telling them what they should be doing? Or are you spending time listening, hearing how was their day? How is their life? What's the sports drama? What's the school drama? What's going on with teachers? What's going on with school, without the, are you getting your schoolwork done? How are your grades? But more like, who's your favorite teacher? What makes them your favorite teacher? What do you enjoy about this, that, or the other? What's the drama at school, right? And so listening is so critical. And one key thing I want to tell you, if you are not going to listen to your daughters, some other boy will. Some boy, not a man, you're a man, right? Be the father, listen, help your ear be the ear that they want to turn to and share their life with, not some kid who's not ready to deal with absorbing all of the emotions of a girl and, being a boy, wanting a girl, and being willing to listen to her. I think it's really critical for us dads to do that. All right, a couple other things. I've been talking to a few dads about chores, about curfews, about family expectations. I think a lot of times we can get stuck as dads. The reason why I want you to be home by 10 o'clock or 9:30 or 9, because that's your curfew, or there's drunk drivers on the road, or using these other justifications, or chores. I've been working all day and I can't do this alone. I need you. So I think instead of some of the justifications, which I think can lead to us or our kids externalizing the lesson, which I'm learning this right now, that watch out, because here comes dad and he's the rule guy and just always has something to say, which I'm sure if my kids were sitting on this podcast right now, they'd be like, yo, dude, listen to your own stuff, which is why I'm talking about it, because I'm learning it and it matters. But the goal of us having kids is not, well, this is a whole nother conversation, but let's just say we're growing them to be able to take care and not be dependent on us to wipe their butt and feed their mouths in a simple way. Not that we want them to be independent of us, because we want to be families that work together, but another conversation. The idea here is, why are there certain expectations? And then can we tie the expectations to, hey, I want you to grow as a human. Curfew. Okay. I'm dealing with this with a dad and his son. Curfew's 10. If you come home at 10:15, is it that big a deal? Is it that there were junk drivers on the road? Is it that you were unsafe? Is it that I don't trust you? No, I want to teach you that if you are, married one day, or your kid one day, and you said you were going to be somewhere at a certain time, and A, you weren't, or B, you didn't communicate that you were going to be late, that's what we're talking about here. Do you want to be respected? Do you want to be honored? Do you want to be trusted? Do you want to be accountable, like somebody who people can count on? Well, then you knew you were going to be late. So communicate with me. And so this is less about me micromanaging your life, and it's more about me helping you internalize lessons that are going to be valuable for relationship, which when you're 13 to 20, for the most part, I don't want to say for the most part, but what we're trying to do is take you from a boy to a man, or a young woman or young girl to a woman. And so much of this like long adolescence is selfishness, right? And it's not considering other people and how this may impact other people. And so it comes down to communication, openness, honesty, and thinking about how your actions impact those around you. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about chores, curfew, and expectations. So something to consider. How do we help our young people internalize the lesson and not externalize to just watch out for dad? All right, dudes, I want to have this affirmation. It really matters what you say about yourself. So check this out. Repeat after me. I am the CEO of this family. I am here to listen, provide for, to protect, and to care for those that have been placed in my care. No one is going to do this for me. This is my opportunity, my responsibility, and my honor. All right, my friends, if these are helpful, please write a review, send it to a friend, help spread the word. Fatherhood matters. All right, my dudes, remember who you are. You are a father, and that matters. Together, let's rebel against the view that fatherhood has little impact, and let's create lives engaged in mastering the craft of fatherhood. Much love to you, my brothers. Together, we're changing the world. I look forward to hanging out with you next week.